Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? Real quick, before we start, if you saw on starting the show, if you're watching on the YouTube version of this podcast, we lost a legend. R.I.P. to the Iron Sheik. And I know he told Death to go fuck yourself. And to Hogan, too. Much love, much respect, Iron Sheik, man. You will be missed. And I will miss those daily tweets. All right, y'all. Well, welcome. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. This is the New World Podcast, brother. And we're talking about NXT, June 6th, 2023. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. We start the show off with Baron Corbin. He's like, hit my music. He comes out. And I was just like, it's still the same, that happy music, whatever. I'm like, oh, fuck. Come on, get rid of that shit already. Like, and I read I was reading some things online, and the main reason that Mustafa Ali and Baron Corbin went down there is to get more eyes on NXT. Well, I feel like that was just, that's why I'm like, tonight, like, Dana Brooke showed up. She's going to be part of the Battle Royal at the end. I was like, oh, okay, so people that are just not being used, let's use them over here in NXT. And, you know, I was just like, okay, for Baron Corbin, though, and Mustafa Ali, I don't feel like, for me, I was like, well, you know, yeah, let's go get some eyes on NXT. But also with these two, I was like, these two need a hard reboot. Like, I feel like with Baron Corbin at this point, we could strip things away and slowly have him become an actual threat to Carmelo Hayes in that championship. And I love the fact that we're going to get a match with Ilya Dragunov. Like, Ilya Dragunov came out, he's like, hey, I beat Dijak, so I'm in line to face Carmelo for that title. And Ilya sends out a challenge, and I was like, oh my gosh. But at the starting, when Baron was trying to cut his promo, bum-ass Corbin chance, they were just not letting him have it, but then he finally got through. He didn't. What I like what Baron did, he did not tell the crowd to shut up. He did not acknowledge those boos. He just kept talking. And I was just like, okay, I like this. But he made a statement saying, like, hey, I'm the old school NXT, and, I'm came here to get these guys in line and show them what it is to be an actual superstar, and not in those words, but in those words. But Trick Williams comes out and attacks. We have, that sets up the match for later on in the night. Duke. Then we have a Duke and Thea backstage. Oh, she's just getting done training because she's getting ready for the Battle Royale. Charlie Dempsey, Drew Gulak are training her, and Duke's like, what's going on? You got to get ready, this and that. And Thea's like, you being Thea. Then we have our first match of the night, Schism versus Diamond Mine. Great match, man. Schism for the win. But Ivy and Ava, their rivalry is building, and Ava got Ivy with the mask, smacked her in the face. That's how they got the win. Schism won. Diamond Mine, none. Stacks visits D'Angelo in, quotations, prison. I at first I was like, this is stupid. Like when they first start, when D'Angelo got taken back to, you got arrested and pinched or whatever. I don't know. When we're doing this scene, I'm watching it, I'm just like, okay, this is kind of funny. I kind of like this. I don't know why, but I like this, D'Angelo, like, hey, it's like they treat me so good here. They got me Peacock, nice little plug there. They got me Peacock. And Stacks is like, we got to get those rats, Gallus and everything like that. So then we had another segment backstage. Von Wagner with Mr. Stone at a therapist's office. They were showing some things with backstage, it's funny. It's like, these segments, like back to back. I feel like we could have put a match in between these, but they were really literally back to back. This whole Van Wagner, Mr. Stone thing, and the sexy therapist, and Van Wagner's like, oh, I don't want to go to therapy. And then she comes out, he's like, oh, hey, I got this, Mr. Stone. Wink, wink. And I'm like, ay, cochino. Danny Palmer versus Blair Davenport. Blair Davenport surprised us last week. She is back and hasn't missed a lick. This was a good match and fun match as well. Dana Brooke is here. She's like, I'm here because I heard there's a number one contendership battle royale, and I'm going to be in it. Tiffany Stratton better watch herself. Mm-hmm. Tiffany Stratton backstage interviews. You know, she picked Valkyria. Says that she's worthy. She took her to the limit and whatnot. So Tiffany putting her thoughts in it, but she says this is the Tiffy era, basically. You know, this is Tiffany's time to shine. Then now we have Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams. Hey, oh man, this match was awesome, man. You know, showing Baron Corbin's chops. I love that his shirt lost at sea or something at sea. Something lost on the ship. I don't know. It was something with the ship. And I thought, if you looked at the shirt, I thought I saw a wolf, like in the clouds. And I was like, oh, okay. Just get rid of the goddamn music. I fucking hate your music. It's that you know, like that casino sound, and it goes in. I'm like, let's get back to just the lone wolf Baron Corbin here. July 30th, the Great American Bash, baby. Then July 1st, Money in the Bank. Man, so many shows. My wife was like, real quick side story. Like last night, where I was telling her, I was like, hey, you know, you, me, and the kid, let's go watch Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And then she's like, no, me and Kathy want to see the Boogeyman. I was like, okay, we can do that too. And I can go see Spider-Man later on, you know. And we're talking, and then she goes, wait a minute, Sunday? You want to do it Sunday? I said, yeah, we'll do it Sunday. She goes, don't you have like a pay-per-view? You've been having pay-per-views every single week. And I was like, oh yeah, huh? Shit. And I went through my thing. I was like, oh no, there's no pay-per-view this week. Don't scare me like that, woman. Don't scare me like that. Yeah, so because there has been a lot of shows coming up. So we got Nathan Frazier's hard-hitting Home Truths with Dragon Lee. This was funny. I got to tell you, slowly but surely, this whole version of NXT is slowly growing on me. Slowly, not a lot. Still a lot of things that I'm like, okay, you know. But this Nathan Frazier thing, he challenges Noam Dar. You know, Dragon Lee says he'll be there. They gave some really funny names to Noam Dar's posse that were kind of funny. So, but we have Mustafa Ali interview backstage. Wesley interrupts. You know, he's like, yo, you want a shot at this? You have it. And Mustafa Ali's like, nah, man, you know, I'm so positive. I don't need to just accept challenges like that. I need to earn it. I'm like, just take the challenge, man. But we have Joe Gacy versus Mustafa Ali. Joe Gacy loses to Mustafa Ali. This was a good match, but the dyad attacks. Then Wesley and Tyler for the save. This sets up a big 6-man tag team match next week. I cannot wait for that. And I know Mustafa Ali has a Money in the Bank qualifying match this Friday on SmackDown. So a lot of good stuff this week, man. Bro, and this segment backstage, my God, I was texting Penta. I was like, yo, man, I was like, there's so many people you got to keep up with names here. So many, like, you know, because you got Brooks, Josh, you know, they're back there with Fallon Henley because she's in the Battle Royale backstage, and Idris and Malik come in, and Hank and Tank come in, and then Gallus comes in. I'm just like, my brain's like, oh my God. There's so many to keep up with, you know, so, you know, it's just one of those things where I was just like, oh my God, there's just so many people, especially in this one little segment, you know, Brooks, Josh, Fallon Henley, Idris, Malik, and Hank Tank, and Gallus. Like, it was all just in one. But Idris and Malik are going to face each other next week, and the story between those two is they've been seeing it like Hank and Tank fought each other. Now they're a better tag team, you know. Brooks and Josh fought each other. Now they're a better tag team, and Idris and Malik were like, we got to fight each other to become a better tag team. So, and Gallus was like, yo, get out of our way, you know. Noam Dar backstage interview, you know, Noam Dar, I cannot wait because he's putting that Heritage Cup on the line against Nathan Frazier. I'm just like, fuck yeah, baby. That's going to be a great match. Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp was okay. You know, nothing really, like, these are just like two massive people going at each other. So Eddie Thorpe for the win. Gigi Dolan backstage calling her mama. I said, Mama, I'm going to win. And Kiana James interrupts her. She says, yeah, sure. You know. Dabocado versus Scripps, a.k.a. Reggie. I was like, why don't you just call him Reggie? Scripps is just a really terrible name. But Scripps for the win on a roll-up, but Axiom came out. But Dabocado beat them down. Beat them down good. And he's last man standing. Schism backstage, and they're pissed. And they're talking about they're going to expose Wes, Ali, and Tyler. They're going to expose them, because they're mad. And Joe's like, I lost one. And, Ava's like, hey, one root whatever to a tree can't, whatever. I don't know treeology, okay? But she said something, I thought that was pretty cool. Then we have Wes, Ali, Tyler backstage. They're talking about their big tag team match next week and everything like that. And Ali talking about Money in the Bank qualifying match. I don't know if he'll continue on in that, but we'll see. Now, to the Battle Royale. The number one contendership to face Tiffany for that NXT Women's Championship. So I got two things here. These are meats and potatoes of the show. This was a good Battle Royale. I had a lot of fun. I was pulling for Cora Jade. I should stop pulling for Cora Jade because Cora Jade never gets it. And it came down to Dana Brooke and Cora Jade, and I was like, oh, shit. And then at one point I forgot Thea was not eliminated, and she comes in, I'm like, oh, no. Because when Thea showed herself, and they're like, she wasn't eliminated, Booker. She wasn't eliminated. I avenge her law. And I was like, fuck, no. You're going to tell me that you're going to, what? And I get it, Tiffany's a heel. We can't have heel versus heel in some aspects because it's tradition or whatever, logic, the unwritten rule or whatever. But as soon as I saw Thea, I was like, she's going to win. God damn it. I was going to be pissed that Dana Brooke won, but Dana Brooke didn't win. And I was even more pissed that Thea Hale, sorry. I'm already getting all mixed up, and I'm just like, really? Really? Then Chase U, you already know my thoughts on Chase U, and I'm like, okay, Thea Hale. I don't understand the booking behind this. I don't, Dana Brooke coming in and winning, understandable. Let's give her that Mandy Rose treatment, build her up. But I don't know. I am at a mix. Like, Thea's okay. I don't care for the character that she's playing. That like, the sporadic, like, I was just like, but maybe with this opportunity, she'll grow. And she's been working with Drew and Dempsey, and I don't know, y'all. It's just one of those things where I scratched my head at Thea Hale, and I'm like, okay, I guess we'll see. Well, is this going to be at the Great American Bash, or will this be just a throwaway on TV? I think that was the big problem. I was like, because like a Cora Jade versus Tiffany, like Stratton, like that's a pay-per-view. Thea Hale versus Tiffany just seems like something they'll have on in 2 weeks on NXT, and Thea will lose. So, whatever. Braun Breaker, though, he attacked Ilya Dragunov. He's walking backstage. He's angry. He's meaner than evil. And he calls out Seth Rollins. Tells him, put that World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Come here to NXT. Calling out Seth Rollins. And I was like, why can't you just go to Raw already, in my opinion? But automatically, this dude got the huevos to be like, yo, Seth. Calling out Seth Rollins. And I was like, all right, are we going to see Seth Rollins accept the challenge and go to NXT? That's the way to get eyes on the show, too. I feel like Braun Breaker should have been like, I'm done with this place. I kicked the shit out of Ilya Dragunov. So we have something there. And he can go, yeah. Now, my next stop is to Raw. I'm calling out Rollins right now, and he better answer the call when I get there. That would have been like, oh, shit. But this was like, oh, so we're just bringing Rollins just so we can get some ratings going here. Sure. Whatever. Okay. Am I excited about that? I know I said I wanted Braun Breaker to move on, but I think we did it the opposite way. Braun Breaker moving on to the main roster to go face Rollins for that Raw Championship, then staying on the main roster, then, but calling Seth here, if they make this match happen, it'll happen in 2 weeks. So all of us will be like, well, you need to tune in to NXT to see Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, the first inaugural NXT champion, and the first world heavyweight new champion, So it all makes sense story-wise, but I feel like it should have went the opposite way with Braun Breaker going to Raw and challenging Seth Rollins, for that championship. But also, too, I don't know if anybody on the main, who watches the main show is like, who's this guy? Because, there's some people out there that don't watch NXT, and there's people that do watch NXT, like hardcore people like me. But this is why you listen to the New World Podcast, because I give you this without even watching the show. So there's some people that listen to this podcast and like, man, I don't even watch wrestling, but I like keeping up to date and you dropping this and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, thank you. That's what I like to hear. All right, y'all. I give the show, though, a solid 5. No, I don't. No, that's too generous. 3.5. 3.5 out of 5. Just because Thea was like a head scratcher. Braun Breaker was like, okay, that's cool. But there was some great matches here. Schism Diamond Mine was my top match, man. Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams, really high on that list, too, as well. Dana Palmer, Blair Davenport. And I just sucks that I saw Cora Jade get pushed out of another opportunity. With the Roxanne Perez and Valkyrie, everybody like that. It's just like, okay, sure. Thea, we'll go with Thea. Chase you. God damn it. All right, y'all. Tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Drop them below. Let's talk. We're wrestling fans here, folks. And after that, like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get that sweet logo. I want to see it in the crowd, baby. I want to see the New World Podcast in the crowd. And throw those 2 sweet signs up. And you know this. Everyone knows this, that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Because you're pretty familiar with how we do things here. Because you were the first ever NXT champion, and I was the most dominant NXT champion.